Your mind, hands down, is the most important part of anything to do with your body, anything to do with this world. Because if you think about it, with our world, if our brains weren't working right, the world wouldn't work either. We're the ones that are the creators in the end of the day. If you believe in God or any religion or even no religion, you do know we have a brain regardless. In your brain, you have to understand how you think. And if you're not treating your body from the outside physical to the inside emotional and mental, your brain isn't going to have the clarity to even formulate the thoughts to create the world and the vision that you want. People will talk about manifestation. And yes, manifestation, I think, is something that is very important, but I think it's beyond the manifestation. Why, when people think about things or write them down or practice, why do they start actually obtaining the things? It's because they're not even knowing they're creating that life subconsciously, daily compounding habit that inevitably reaches the truest version of themselves. Envision that if you wanted, say, a good friend group or a happy family, you're going to write that down. What do you have to do to get there? And then if you say you want financial freedom, say you want a Lamborghini, all right, you write that down. What do you have to get there? Say you want to be, a big bodybuilder. What do you have to do? Write it down, right? Okay, that's manifesting it. You're preaching it, you're understanding it, you're saying it out loud, all that kind of thing. We get that. But what's most important is understanding who you are today, right? What is the void of where you are today different from where you're trying to be in your best self in terms of these goals? It's you right here versus your finish line. Get a storyboard from Walmart or Target, write down your name. My name is David, so I'm gonna write David Lamborghini, my age 21, right? Maybe a little before 21 to see what my previous goals were and did I reach them. And then I want to write a timeline of a 5-year model, a 10-year model, 15, all the way to the average death is 75. Don't plan on it, but go off statistics. If your death rate's 75, at least start with that. And you're going to start to think a little bit more. You're going to start cherishing your time and your mind a lot more in your body. Once you draw this storyboard out of just your dream life, right? Your goals. We are born, we work, we reproduce, and die. If that's the way you look at it, that's concerning. Because you have to understand all the things around you have been created by someone no better than yourself. Steve Jobs said himself, even. That statement exactly. And do you think it took their mindset to wake up and say, I wake up, I'm born, I reproduce, I work, I die? Is that it? You think those are just a couple handful of things that their perspective and mindset on life was? No. Your mindset and their mindset of anyone that's ever created anything or systems in order to actually control or help in a good or bad way or aspect has actually reached people by them self-developing to a level beyond the basic education. You have to understand, the system isn't to hurt you. The system is to just minimize anarchy and just get you through life, okay? Once you acknowledge that that is all the system is doing for you, then you have to learn that there's other steps that you have to do outside of that. If that is studying your finances, right, to get financially free, because the economic system is run off money, right? So you have to make money in order to buy yourself your freedom and your time back, and buy time so you have for yourself and your future family, or buy, your time and financial freedom to help certain, organizations or philanthropy acts that may need it because they're not getting the help that they should or the funding they should. There's a lot of things that they can go down, but your mindset. There were studies that were just shown, and I want to credit to this because it was one of the most recent podcasts I literally just listened to today. Andrew Huberman, which is great with podcasting and neuroscience, he's talking about a part in our brain, which is the anterior cingulate cortex, and we've already known about it, but we didn't know why it performs this certain visual constantly. It's that section of our brain. It will pulse and it gets bigger and it shrinks. Why is it getting bigger and why is it shrinking? And they realize that when we do things that we don't want to do, it gets bigger. That part of your brain will literally get enlarged by doing things you don't want to do. Say you don't want to go for a run, right? And I'm like, okay, today I got to do my 3 to 10 miles minimum for this 365 regimen that I'm doing. I do that, it's going to get bigger, and I'm going to feel more motivated to do the next thing, which is what? I have to go work out today, right? Do I want to? No. No, I'm like getting I'm I'm getting absolutely sick of this schedule already, 365 days of this, and a couple days in, I don't want to do it. There's a million things I want to do. I could be drawing another business model. I could be focusing on a lot of other things, my relationship, everything, myself, whatever. By doing that, my brain is inevitably getting larger in that area, which is going to keep me more motivated, which is why you see people when they start getting a little success, they sprint and they don't stop. They sprint regardless of life being a marathon. It's not accidental. I think trauma is a major thing too. When I was younger, I was always asking myself, what is separating myself from these successful people? Successful people with great families, successful people with great financial standpoints, successful with like just fit. Like, what am I doing wrong? And it all started with obviously the basics of the nutrition and physical and education. Most important, education is huge. Your brain and anything involving your brain is huge. But you have to do the external things to get the clarity up here in order to obviously have that. It's like having a computer. You open your MacBook, you have a million tabs open, clear it with asset management. That's like yourself, asset management. Clear it with obviously like the bad stuff of, no porn, no gratifying, watching other people's life, no playing video games or sports or anything like that. Give it up. Give it up. Just detox. This is your life. Stop just getting into this mindset that it's normal to distract yourself and it's fun to watch someone else. But you have to understand, if someone's not on your team or genuinely doesn't even know who you are funding their lifestyle. If that's your time watching them, if that's your financial betting on them, whatever it is, you are sacrificing your one time here for someone else to live better. And if you're okay with that, be my guest. Because in the end of the day, there's people that want to actually create and conquer, and there's people that want to just sit back and, oh, that's life. Life does it to me. I'll tell you right now, majority of the time it's not life doing it to you. It's someone no smarter than you that's just taking advantage of the moment. And back to the trauma. When I'm studying, I was so obsessed. I was like, what am I doing wrong? I'm working 100 plus hours a week. I'm literally working over 100-hour weeks while I'm young to save up, my first abundance of money and funds to hopefully, now I got money and I can do these great things. No. What's next? How are these people on a Tuesday that I'm working sipping coffee at a coffee shop while 90% of everyone else is commuting to work? How is it on a random Wednesday or Thursday, these people are at your local town that people visit on the weekends usually, but are there on the weekdays able to just go on the boat in the summer or go snowboarding? It's 1 p.m. What are you doing? They understood time. That's another thing. Those people understood all of these compounding aspects of life, internally and externally, to compound into and within themselves in order to obtain the person that they wanted to become. So when I'm studying all these successful people, just like my own algorithm, right? I'm just like, boom, highlight here, highlight here. The huge deciding factor of someone becoming successful is one person I want to credit is Patrick Bet-David. I don't listen to him all the time, but he had a great example of successful people. One of his points I don't agree on like all of his points, but the one point is unconditional love. I had a single mother that literally gave it her all, sacrificed everything in order to like have myself have at least somewhat of an even playing field in this lifetime, right? Or this society. And having that unconditional love motivated me. She made me feel like I could do anything. I want to be an astronaut? Okay, easy. Go get your certificate to be an astronaut. Or you want to go in the NBA? All right. You're 5'8", 5'9", not that good at basketball, but I'm sure you could probably figure it out. She always thought that I could figure it out. Because I was always, when I was younger, just drawing on storyboards and researching. I wanted to skip school all the time to just learn of why are we doing all of this? This seems like a complete act. What is the point? at the young age. I went to several psychologists when I was younger because they thought I was like depressed, anxiety, and in some standpoint, yes, but I think I was actually just educating myself in important sectors that were not taught in school, right? You're looked at as crazy if you're questioning, how society is ran. You're looked at as crazy when you think you could do anything, right? But imagine you thought like when you were a child with those dreams and aspirations, thinking that you can never fail, nothing is bad, into adulting and as you evolve. Your limit only stops with your mind. Second point I wanted to make, trauma and adversities. I've noticed that the second correlation of success is people that have had absolutely incredible adversity, right? And I mean people that went from like 0 to 100, rock bottom to everything. Even myself, for example, I've been at rock bottom. I've seen it, I've felt it, and I've just had this mindset of life is hard in general. When my father passed away, my mother told me, what am I going to do? Am I going to sit there and cry in my mother's arms? Or am I going to sit up tall and say I'm fine and stay a strong man for my mother? She had more experiences and memories with my father than I did because he wasn't in my life majority of the time. Think about all the time of her maybe having these arguments with him in the past, or her having to just endure this emotional and physical stress, So how am I going to take that? I thought I'm going to be the man. I'm going to be a man, and I'm going to get past this with time, right? I'm not going to go party more. I'm not going to go have fun. I don't need any of that. All I need is this. Mother passed away. Most recent, absolutely, the most detrimental loss I'll ever have in this lifetime. My mother was someone that made it through several adversities and still stood up on her feet every single day. As much as she hurt, in every aspect of life, she stood up and she kept going. Myself acknowledge that. So when I lost her and my father and every other family member, or hardships with financial, anything like that, I always had the mindset, this is hard, but life is always going to be harder. So what is it? And I look so far into the future, right? Of what are my options? I give up now, I get a drug addiction or a drinking addiction to forget about my life and make it even worse, right? Or do I go party or play video games, or going, there's just a million things that I could have gone into to forget and get altered to forget about my life and my situations of adversities. Life doesn't know what it has in store for me. If life is like, not even trying to play that victim card, if that were a thing where life does do things for reasons, I'm up, I'm standing, and I can get past anything. And you have to have that delusional mindset of, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. And with repetitions of adversities, unconditional love, and just consistency of self-development, you're going to reach levels of a person that is more than deserving of the little goals that you set for yourself every single day or years or this lifetime. Then high school hit, and I wanted to go into cognitive behavioral therapy because like my mind, was going through things in high school. I was trying to figure things out and kind of understand human psychology, and I really was interested on it. And I was like, if I can get through what I have and understand, I can help a lot of other individuals. So graduating high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to fork over the money for all this money that I earned and saved up and created. And I ended up not following through with college immediately. I just went into business, full time then. And I was getting, a great financial standpoint, making proper investments. My goal in the end of it was I'll make enough financial income to help my mother out, right? Get her out of a situation that she's in. And that was the goal. Like, and the most recent one was an event, right? It was a Christmas light show event that I wanted to give back to the community. It's a middle class community, if that, and wanted to give everyone the opportunity to have like an event to do with their family traditions. Because I remember growing up and I didn't have that stuff or the opportunities to go spend with my family. We didn't have the funds to get our family together and go on these vacations like really, really young. So being able to create something for other kids like are very close and very inexpensive was a really cool thing. And uh, that's something that still eats me up inside of, she passed away right before I created that. There's a couple other family friends I knew that were older that passed away right before my event was open too. And that was just one business model of many things I plan to create in this, lifetime. And I was this close. So I think the hardest thing with this is I'm a very understanding person. I'm open-minded. I understand that my mother's at peace, father, family, friends that are all at peace, right? I get that. But there's nothing that justifies the loneliness of waking up and you don't have a good morning from your mother and father. You don't have a how's your day going like I used to every day. Or, have a good night. Every single day. I never missed a single day of saying good morning, how's your day, and good night with my mother. Ever. In my entire life, when I got a phone and I even purchased her newer phone towards the end, I never missed a day. And nothing explains or can justify the loneliness of that. Nothing justifies the loneliness of all the success that I've created now and will continue to create. Yes, I have my girlfriend and her family to cherish and to celebrate with, but setting my emotional subconscious always to my mother and then losing that, initially, I thought it was over. I thought this is my break, right? This is going to break me. Or when I get married, right? My beautiful girlfriend, we've been together now 5 years of pure loyalty and discipline. We're very mature in this, right now, our generation, it's so difficult with relationships, and we've been able to be in the same, mindset, head level with everything. So it's like when we get married, and on my side of the family, not many people are there. Can you justify that? Can you justify that life has its reasons? Holidays, Christmas, birthdays, can you justify that? Merry Christmas, Mom. Merry Christmas, Dad. Merry Christmas, grandparents. Happy birthdays from that. I have a great support system with friends and my girlfriend and her family. Don't get me wrong. An amazing support system. And without her, I don't even know. I got lucky. My mother gave me unconditional love, and then my girlfriend just passed on that next baton. And with all of this back-to-back adversity, I had two options, pessimistic or optimistic. Life's against me. This is it. This is unfair with everything, financial, life. I'm sorry to break to you, but life is unfair. That is the only truth to it, is life is unfair. But back to the topic with the mind and the brain part we were mentioning, is these adversities. I didn't want to continue another day joyful. I didn't want to wake up when my mother or my father, anyone has ever passed, and say, yep, I'm going to take on today. I felt like I had bricks on my chest, waking up with pure panic attacks every morning, still at 4 to 6 a.m., regardless the day of or the day after of any losses of any family member and friends. And I said, if I were them, I would look down if there is an afterlife and say, get the fuck up and keep moving forward. And that is it. That is the only mindset that I believe in. I will stand by it till I die and anyone else's. So by doing these repetitions of not wanting to get up after a loss, by not wanting to try to be happy, not wanting to still get up, smile, and go about life, by not doing those things, it inevitably grew this part of the brain in my mind constantly. And keep in mind, it shrinks just as fast as it goes. Once you start doing the things that you do want to do, like maybe eating that, cheat food or the dessert and stuff, it does shrink just as fast. So just because you want, absolutely Rocky Balboa, discipline, doing things you don't like for 30 days, well, if you do things for 5 days even, just like a bad habit, it's going to shrink just as fast, if not even faster in studies. So with repetition, you can time your success by doing things you don't want to do, like staying disciplined on a regimen, and then you start articulating and calculating your dream life, which is a storyboard, and then you start drawing models and formulas of how to get there. If that is if that is business models, if that is just whatever your goal is, where are you today and what's avoiding you from being there?